far as I'm concerned, the Canadian hockey team is making a grand case for the elimination of women's hockey from the Winter Olympics. A sport has to be competitive to be in the Olympic Games, or should be competitive to be in the Olympic Games. Clearly, this sport is not. There are two teams so far ahead of the rest of the world that it's almost an embarrassment to the IOC to call this Olympic sport.
I'm here with Hayley Wickenheiser, and Hayley's strong words from the Sun, Steve Simmons, and Jacques Rogue echoed similar sentiments the day that you won the gold medal in Vancouver. And I just want to know, on a personal level, how does that make you feel?
Motivated. Motivates me to, to continue to work to grow the game and to continue to work to be the best player that I can be and the best team that we can have with Team Canada. I think that, like I said, people don't realize what type of work and effort we put into becoming top athletes and good hockey players and playing for your country, and you can't really control what the rest of the world is doing. I don't disagree that the rest of the world needs to keep improving, but it's often a long process. And if we look at where women's hockey is in the same time frame as when the men started in the first 4 or 5 Olympic Games, we're actually further ahead. We've had the podium change in every Olympics from gold, silver, bronze. You look at the numbers, 85,000 in Canada and around the world growing. So you look at the men's game, Russia dominated for so many years, winning, all those world championships. So there's a lot of growth happening. I think people are less patient now because we've seen men's hockey come so far, and in the men's tournament, you look at that tournament, still a 4 or 5 country tournament. So
motivated is a very interesting word, because if I were you, I'd probably say I'm insulted that maybe someone like that would try to diminish what I've accomplished. Do you feel at all that way?
There's times when it's frustrating, but I also realize that those comments often come from people that pay attention to women's hockey every 4 years, and rather than on a yearly or different event basis. And so they see in 2 weeks what happens, and it's not often a representation of what's gone on in the 4 years leading up to the Olympics. Because to me, there are probably 4 countries in the world that on any given day can beat each other.
Sure.
So. It's a lot of educating people and fighting and continuing to keep, battling for what you believe in and what you love to do.
I don't know if you've ever been asked this question before, but, and I'm not trying to make this insulting in any way, but what's it like when you beat a team 18-0 on a world stage? Do you almost feel bad for the other team? Is there a sense of that at all?
Yeah, it's not an enjoyable thing. For me, I don't, if you win 18-0 or you lose 18-0, that's not fun really either way. But at the same time, when you go to an Olympics, we work way too hard to just dump the puck in, trap it up, and just sit back. And people pay money to come and see those games. They want to see goals. They want to see excitement. They want to see plays and see great hockey. And that's what we decided as a team we were going to demonstrate was, hey, we're going to set a standard here. We're going to set an example, and we're going to play the best because we've worked way too hard for this. And so, yeah, it isn't fun. But at the same time, you know that you're helping, you're developing, and the game is coming along. And we had a gold medal to win.
Is there a problem maybe with the structure of the Olympic Games? Because like you said, there's 4 strong nations, and a round robin between you and the U.S. and Finland and Sweden would probably be really competitive and really interesting. It's just some of the smaller nations that haven't got up to the point, and the participation levels alone speak to how much needs to be done. And really, this is a long-term growth process. This isn't anything that can be solved just like that.
Well, it's not. I say again, men's game's been around for 100 years, and we still saw Canada beat up on Germany in the men's Olympic tournament.
Sure.
We see blowouts at the World Juniors every single year in the early round robin games. It's happening on the men's side too, and that's just part of developing the game. But you need countries like Slovakia, like China, like Germany there, because they're playing hockey over there and they actually care about the sport and want to invest in it. I mean, China has 200 players in the country, but they live and train together 300 days of the year and put more commitment into their game than Sweden and Finland do. They just don't have a hockey culture. So if we had other countries like that do the same thing, it would be amazing what we could do.
So what should be preached by the International Ice Hockey Federation and maybe to the IOC or who have you? Is it preaching patience, or is it preaching more investment into programs? What can be done, and what's the best way of getting there, Hayley?
Well, I think patience with the process, but at the same time, there's got to be a sense of interest and urgency from the IIHF to push countries in some of these countries where it's male hockey is the traditional dominated sport to develop their female programs. You know, a country like Russia, which in 4 years' time is going to host an Olympic Games. You know, I sat with Vladislav Tretiak and heard him talk about how women don't want to play hockey in Russia, in a very old school view. But I don't believe that. I believe they do, and they need the opportunity and the resources to do so. And so federations, leadership, and then also from a player standpoint, women have to be prepared to sacrifice to be full-time athletes and hockey players in these countries around the world, as we do in Canada and the U.S. and Sweden and Finland have started to do that more and more.
It's the exact same way it's been in the soccer world. Why haven't traditional countries like England a powerhouse? Why isn't their women's program up to snuff? It's because you're not investing in the program and you have no will to make it better. So you're absolutely right on that point. It's a matter of these countries making sure that they take care of themselves and let the chips fall into place. And it's almost like they're detrimental to the growth of the international game, and it's not the game of hockey or women's participation in general that's at fault.
It's true, and it's also up to the players. I mean, I am sitting here today fortunate because players like France St. Louis, Stacey Wilson, Angela James, they fought for the place to play, and they fought Hockey Canada to give more money and to give respect for women's hockey, and now they do. So that's important, not just sit back and say we need this and that. You have to be proactive in it as well.
And now you and those other ladies are stars in this country, and you're better off for it. And Hayley's here today to promote the partnership between Cadbury and Right to Play. We got more on that coming up just in a bit right here inside the Casino Rama Grill Room.